very much. Any more questions? Okay, then thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last but not least, this is Jana S from Technical University of Kosice, who will present EIT Raw Materials Regional Hub Center in Kosice. And the floor is yours.
Mike.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to very shortly present our regional center Kosice. So my name is Jana S, as you heard. I'm from the Faculty of Mining, Ecology, Process Control and Geotechnologies at this university. So a very raw materials oriented faculty. Since January this year, we've been running a hub, in other words, a cluster that cluster all the raw materials stakeholders in the region. And now we're going abroad and focusing also on neighboring countries. Our focus for next year is also Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic. So we've been very regionally focused this year, and next year we're expanding our operations. We're 2-3 people running the hub, so very small, a small amount of people, but so it's quite busy, but very interesting as well. So let me introduce you to our activities. First, I hope I get the numbers here right. I've got the ministry to correct me if I'm wrong. Well, let me introduce you a little bit to the business environment on the background of which we operate. So it happens so that in Slovakia, almost 100% of the private sector is constituted of small and medium-sized enterprises, and these enterprises constitute 77% of all the jobs in the private sector. What comes to the large companies, those are of course the largest contributors to our GDP and are more than often owned by foreign investors. And it happens so that up to 1,200 of small medium-sized enterprises that I mentioned act as sub-suppliers to those big large companies. What comes to share of investment or investment in research and development and innovation from the business side, well, it doesn't matter if the numbers are totally correct. I heard some other numbers today, but it's a very, very low share from the foreign investment. It's less than 1% in research and development, and small and medium-sized enterprises almost, less than 1%, less than 0.50%. And it's not because, of course, they're lazy or something, but they're really lacking the funds, the investments for their innovation funds. So we would like to make a change in this environment, and how we intend to do that. That's hopefully this will be clear from the next slides. Well, what we do, we try to keep it very cross-sectorial and multidisciplinary. For instance, why multidisciplinary? It's because we have, more than often, we have common solutions or common solutions that we even are not realizing or that we don't know about. For instance, raw materials and the health sector. We found, for instance, we focus now on materials that have improved biomechanical behavior, that are non-toxic, that can be recycled, that limit the import of raw materials from other countries. That all comes down to being energy saving, water saving, cost saving. So we say that everything in our lives is either mined or grown. So really the focus on raw materials has to be strengthened, if either from the business side, or even we try to really push it into the smart specialization strategies at national level, and then the strategies at regional level, and so on, because it's so obvious it's so easy to focus on the sectors that are, obviously present in our lives, like health, IT, and so on, even climate now. It's becoming really popular, but raw materials stand behind all these things, and without it, or the export is beginning to be really limited, and we need it in our everyday lives, in the equipment and so on. So, for instance, now we're focusing or trying to write a project where we try to find a new exploration tool based on artificial intelligence, and we are able to do that because the technique of artificial intelligence for image recognition has been just research for cancer research. So we're saving a lot of time with developing a technique that has, thanks to being in other area of specialization, already developed, and we can just take it and use it for image recognition. And if you look at the images, they're really same for totally different sectors. So from cancer research, and now the images from seismology and geographics. Okay, and of course we have to be successful, we have to network, as has been said many times, all levels of the knowledge triangle, or however we choose to call it. So we try to connect education, research, industry, and also, of course, the private sector. We try to do networking events. We've had a couple of networking events this year. What we really would like to focus on with this event is to bring direct benefits for the stakeholders, because we involve a lot of industry, and we have to always keep it clear what the benefits will be for them to not be able to attend, but for them wanting to attend the event. So, for instance, what we did with really good results recently, we had a conference, and we invited the industry partners. We looked at their profiles, and we tried to, before the conference, we really tried to look at possibilities on how they could cooperate together. And then when we had the conference, we had workshops where they worked in really small groups or in pairs, and we suggested the possibilities for them. And this had really, really good feedback from the industry, saying that this was really valuable spending of their time, that they didn't just come to listen, but they really could act on the proposed cooperations. Then we support the entrepreneurship initiatives. I've done a research with the industry very recently, and they said the number one factor that I think is missing in recent graduates or in the current graduates coming to work for their companies is taking initiative. So we try to really support our students to take initiatives, to be, and that also links very directly to entrepreneurship. And wanting to start an own business, and just being self-sure that one can do that on his or her own. We are running business competitions, we do hackathons, we have a lot of entrepreneurship lectures being incorporated to the current study programs. And we are very focused on the RIS regions. That means the region with lower innovation results. So that's Eastern and Southern Eastern Europe right now. So we do this, all these activities together with those countries, and have open calls and so on together with them. We write projects. We have, I think, 8-9 education projects that we have been able to get since we started the hub. So we are getting quite good at writing projects, luckily, and but now we want to focus much more on the research projects, because really research is that's the base of the university and of innovation, and this is the hard way to get funded, I think, because there are so many good ideas and so much time invested from the researchers, often without results, but that's how competitive this is and how the reality goes now. But really it's a good way to hopefully get equipment and get funded your research. And then we do a lot of wider society learning. For instance, today we have a travel the presentation for wider society. We try to teach them what raw materials are, what the geology is, why they should come and study whatever, recycling or mining or processing, and because a lot of times the students, primary students, secondary school students, they don't know what they should imagine beneath those terms. So we try to educate them and try to get them to come and study these really interesting subjects, and really important. So this is what we did so far in this year, and hopefully more will come. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And do we have any questions in the audience? Great, then thank you, Jana, for the presentation. And thank you all for your attention to the end. And I hope this will have further effect, especially in our region. So maybe Peter would like to say some words at the end. And we will continue with the topic.
Just one answer. I was very enjoyed that you visit us, and I hope so you have opportunity to recognize many very good researchers, institution, and I also that you will also use for your own purpose that we are able to create the new networks, new partnership, and utilize this potential which bring every the project also, because I must say at the end. So thank you very much and see you soon.
Thank you.